Hey, let me fix myself a little bit, can we? Child. Hi everybody, thank you for coming to my channel. This is Tanaya Eyvette. I have decided to start doing things that I love and enjoy doing, which one of them, if many of you know me, is you know that I love to read, I love to write. So today we're gonna come with a book review from, sorry y'all, this dress just keeps, from Mai Neng Moua, and it's called The Bride Price. I bought this book a couple of months ago, actually a few months, it was winter time. And I bought it from Meads in Quinn, which is a bookstore in uptown Minneapolis. I didn't go in there searching for this book. I actually went in there just book browsing. So let's get started, shall we? So this book is about 228, nope, lied. I lied. 225, that's including the prologue and the epilogue. What can I say about this book? It's okay. The beginning, I was just very interested in getting this book because I've been very interested in the Hmong traditions and the Hmong culture, mainly because my fiance is Hmong, and when I started dating him, I started just looking up everything Hmong that I could find. This is no different. We've been in a relationship for about 7 years now, and I just really saw this and was like, oh, I want to know more about the bride price and the details and intricate.
What?
Intricate?
I don't even know what that means.
What is that word? Intricate? That's woven through the Hmong culture. She explains a lot of things in regards to the Hmong bride price, but only based off of her knowledge of it, which isn't very much. I think her knowledge of the bride price is more tainted because she's coming from an American point of view. She's very Americanized. If you hear that in the Hmong culture, it usually means that they are less traditional, more Western. And with Mai Neng, she's also Hmong Christian, and she did not want to do the bride price. Her and her husband both decided that they weren't going to do the negotiation part of a wedding, which meant in the Hmong culture that basically they're paying a price based off of how good of a daughter-in-law and wife you can be. And with Mai Neng, she's like, I don't want to be paid for. I'm not a cow, basically. Which, you know, I agree and I disagree. To each their own. When it comes to traditions, I typically try to stray away from having an opinion that doesn't directly, if it doesn't directly affect me or it doesn't directly affect someone I know, it's really hard for me, especially an outsider, not being Hmong, to have an opinion about a tradition that's not even my own. But I will say that she stood her ground in not doing the bride price. And she described what it was from her eyes, and in her not doing the bride price, even after her mom begged her to do the bride price, she ended up being like, nah, we're good. And ultimately she left. She got kicked out of her own family. Her mom stopped talking to her for years. Her older brother Kia? I think his name's Kia, yeah. Her older brother Kia stopped talking to her. Yeah, her dad was no longer alive. He died when she was very small. And so she basically, in the Hmong culture, so that I don't know if this is relevant, so we'll see if we keep it in. In the Hmong culture, when the dad dies, the uncles and the brother basically have to take charge of the negotiations and the conversations you have to have with the men of the clan. And she is part of the Moua clan. But she basically ended up not realizing the consequences that would happen when she decided to not do the bride price and all of that. Her clan basically talked really bad about her, and it literally spread to her in-law side all the way in Cali, y'all. Rumors were being spread about this lady, and so she had to figure out how she could get the relationship back with her mom. while simultaneously not doing Hmong tradition? And is it worth taking away Hmong tradition if she's going to lose everything that she's ever had? Ultimately, they end up doing the negotiations without her and Blong, which is her husband's name. She was already 7 or 9 years into her legal marriage anyway. So when she did do the Hmong wedding, or when they did the Hmong negotiations for the bride price, them not being there, I really never had that happen before. I've never seen it happen before, but apparently it's a thing. Anyways, now what I can say in the book as a whole, in the beginning, because I know y'all don't want no book synopsis. In the beginning, she talked a lot about the bride price and what it meant to her, and talked about her life growing up, kidney failures and surgeries, and it was interesting. She kept it consistent with talking about the bride price the whole entire book. The problem I had was there were many parts in here that turned into ranting. Like, it was almost like she was trying to fill pages that did not need to be filled with information that was not needed. I don't care for authors that do that, especially if it's a Hmong wedding story. Just talk about the wedding, talk about your experiences with it, which she did, but then she added extra details. Like, she randomly started talking about some uncle and the way that they worked with her dad back in Laos, and all these details about this uncle that never got brought back up towards the end of the book. Like, it was just that section, and it's kind of like, okay. Ultimately, she ended up ending with a good note. I'll read a little bit of that. If I pronounce any of these Hmong words wrong, my bad. There was an elder who is shaman who gave this advice to her. The shaman Hmong person, which is his uncle, the husband's uncle if I'm not mistaken, he was giving some advice about how he has changed the way that things are done with his folks on how weddings are done, and it's more I want to say legal, but it's easier. He says, when you are a leader and you force your culture upon another person, that creates misunderstandings. That was the life in the past. Right now, about 60 to 70% of the elders are still in this stage. But I'm going to change that. For example, my own brother lives in a different city and joins that leader. He loves them and does everything for them. The day he dies or gets in trouble, however, that leader is going to come back to me and say, he's your brother, what do you say? What do you want to do? In the past, he wouldn't have done anything because he didn't want to offend me. This way of leading in the past is too narrow. Even if I don't like it, I want to change this so that if my brother belongs to this group, if he loves them and they love him, no matter what happens, they should go ahead and take care of it. Then they call me. I'll come and see what else needs to be done. If there's nothing, I thank them and I'm happy. This is the life we need to lead from now on. Of course, her and Blong are agreeing, and then he goes in to say, I've even changed how I do the Dongshon wedding. I pronounced that wrong, I'm sorry. I don't need messengers. The two elders responsible for the wedding and the Mekong is the two young people getting married. So why are we parents discussing old problems that we created that have nothing to do with them? I don't think we should follow that anymore, he said. So if you're a young man and you want to marry your girlfriend, you need to face your future in-laws. Don't kidnap a girl like in the past. You face her parents and you say, I want to marry your daughter. The dad then has an opportunity to say, I'm happy that you want to marry my daughter. You may take her with you. Then you go and plan your wedding. But what he says in regards to, yes, if my daughter is okay with it, then I'm okay with it. It's her decision, it's her life. I give her that power. I give her that decision to make. It's their wedding, so they need to prepare for it. It's your daughter, so as parents, you help with expenses. We don't talk about a bride price anymore. We talk about a gift you want to give the in-laws as a token of appreciation so that you become connected. Among traditions, if you wait until everyone is on the same page about everything, that day will never come. The young people are already changing. The way to not have headaches is to stay ahead of the game. We need to change. I really liked the ending, talking to that elder, because he was an old school elder. And to think that an old school elder is willing to change rules, small rules, well, big rules, but starting small, made me have a lot of hope in opening people's minds. Because yes, it's really easy to stay with tradition, but when it comes to moving into a whole new country like America, where the rules are a whole lot different. It's really hard to stay in tradition, and to make someone stay in tradition is what's going to make people stray. So I like that he's trying to maneuver it so that people can learn to do both. You can have more loose rules and still get tradition like you want tradition. All in all, you guys, I enjoyed this book, but it took me roughly 2 months to read. Especially towards the middle, I kind of got uninterested. It's kind of sad, but you know what? I do like the book. It's good information. I learned a lot more about the Hmong wedding that I didn't know. Details I did not share with you all. You'll have to read the book for that. I need some water, y'all. I'm parched. So parched. So with this book, I'd give it it was okay to read. I finished it. Now, if I don't finish a book, it means it really wasn't that interesting. So what we do here is I take my bullet journal. It has books to read in here. And I'm just going to write down the book that I read and how I feel about it. I'm in the middle. I have a smiley face, the face, and a sad face. So I'm going to write the name of the book, which is The Bride Price, and whether or not I liked it. I'm gonna put the middle face because that's where I am. I'm gonna color that in yellow, like jaundice, you know? Okay, so my next book to read, I'm at a dilemma. All right, so I need you guys to really like zoom in, okay? Zoom in. Too close. Jeez. Don't be tripping. All in my personal space. I ain't even got makeup on. I have 2 books. Ooh, and a Burke. My Husband's Wife, which was given to me by a old coworker. I have not read what it's about. And I have Copycat, which is written by one of my favorite authors, Kimberly Lawson Roby. So here's what this one's about. When young lawyer marries Ed, she's determined to make a fresh start and leave the secrets of the past behind. Then she takes her first case and meets Joe, a convicted murderer whom Lily is strangely drawn, and for whom she will soon be willing to risk almost anything. But Lily is not the only one with something to hide. Her next-door neighbor Carla may be only 9, but she has already learned that secrets are powerful things, that they can get her whatever she wants. When Lily finds Carla on her doorstep 12 years later, a chain of events is set in motion that can end only one way. It does not seem that interesting to me, but I'd read it if that's what you guys vote for. The other book is called Copycat by Kimberly Lawson Roby. This one's by Jane Corey. This one is about befriending Tracy Cole is the best thing Simone Phillips has ever done. Tracy is the kind of woman Simone wants to be in every way possible. She begins copying her role model, not because Simone wants to be Tracy, but because she wants to be exactly like Tracy. Tracy doesn't worry though. She knows Simone doesn't mean any harm and that her mimicry is only sincere admiration. Until she discovers how far Simone's obsession has gone. It is then that Simone's entire world begins unraveling and dreadful secrets from her past are exposed with no warning. Secrets that she'll do almost anything to protect. Ooh, that sounds interesting. Which one do you guys want me to read next? This one is about 172 pages of reading. And this one looks like a 300er. This one is 373 pages. I'd give myself 2 weeks on this one, most likely. I'd probably give myself a week on this one. So let me know in the comments. Let me know on my Instagram, which is also below. Please, I want to know. And then I'll close it out at the end of the week and we can decide which one I'm going to read. Also, I forgot to do, in my books, I like to write my initials if I'm going to keep them. I keep most of my books, by the way. So I write on the cover, which I've already done because it's me. I write my name, and then I pick certain pages in the book that I like to write my initials in. It looks like I did it on that one already. Let's try this one. I did not do it on this one. And I do this because I have a fear that someone's going to try to borrow my book and then try to say it's theirs. So I write in specific pages in the middle of books so that they can't say it's theirs. Also, if you ever borrow a book from me, you know that you have to borrow it and return it the same way that you got it. My mother borrowed this book and it has some weird stain on it. I don't like that at all. So we'll see how that goes. When I talk to her, hopefully I don't get slapped. But thank you all for joining me today. I will come to you next time with another book review based off of what y'all request. If you want to see more things from me in regards to books, let me know. Yeah, so I'm gonna eat because I've been looking at this cinnamon roll. I'm chow down, okay? Shoo shoo.